Hello everyone, Don here, back with the next progress report on the Corsair. Yesterday and today, Monday, Tuesday, I spent the day working on the wiring harness. Run into a snafu. I cannot find anybody locally that has these red ones. These are 18 to 22 gauge in a number 8 size screw hole. This is a 10. I used to have 8s, and then you got 6s. Nobody. And I went through like 7 or 8 different places yesterday, running around wasting gas trying to find them damn things. So I had to order them off of eBay. The tracking just showed up today, said they should be here Thursday, because things like this, there's still some wires that I have to tie in, and I need for it to match the screws. There's some ground, couple ground wires. Still power and ground's got to be hooked up to one of the instruments. This wire's here is for the starter ignition switch. It turns on a relay for the ECU, and it let's see, ECU relay, and the fuel pump is activated by the computer. But let's see, it runs the ECU and the ignition coils. That's it. I had to think there for a sec. But I got most of the wiring done. Again, that gets tied into the ignition run position. This is a fuel pump wire. It gets hooked into the new computer. And then we have a ECU power wire. Again, that comes from this switch, so it powers up the ECU powers up the fuel pump. And this fuel pump runs down through the switch, comes up, and then energizes that relay. So then all the wires coming into here. I've got the wires coming from the engine out through into here. So we've got the left ignition system, 2 trigger wires for the 2 coil packs, and then an ECU ground wire, and then the I said right, that's right, left. I got that wrong. Doesn't matter. But you got 2 wires for the triggers, power and ground. They'll share a power wire, they'll share a ground wire. So you got power, ground, triggers. Why do I got 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the same thing on the right side. That's what one of these wires comes over here. Got it bundled up in the wrong bundle. And then these are, what do we got? An ignition coil. Okay, this is the far left side. Ignition powers. And we have the, I believe the alternator wire was lengthened. I have a plug coming for that. And then this is the right bank. And again, one of these wires from here is just wrong. Just put it wrong. I got left and right in here. Ignition grounds, coils, ignition coils for right side. Okay, ignition coils left side, and then the common ground. Alright, that makes sense. That's common ground for the sensors. And then the only wires I haven't put in yet are the 2 sets of wires for the cam sensor and the crank sensor. They're into here, but they got to go from here to the computer. All these go into the computer. These 2 go into the computer. So that's what I've been up to all day. Again, it's been pushing 90 degrees here. I got my little fan going. Keep the air circulating here, so it's staying a little cooler in here than outside. Also, I got the fuel pump wired. That's all done. So everything out here on the engine is wired, other than when I get the coil packs, I got to buy the right plugs to plug them in. So you got power come in, it'll split. Ground comes in, split, and then the 2 triggers. So you got what, 6 wires, 5 wires total, because you're 4 wires total. You're sharing the grounds and the power lead. And they're on a 10 amp circuit breaker. That's all they call for. There's only 1 coil fires at a time. You're not firing multiple coils at one time. Let's see, but I think that's pretty much what I got. Oh, again, this is the fuel pump relay, and this is the computer relay, ignition relay, and they'll get mounted back up underneath here like they were before when I had just the 2 fuel pumps. So I'll relabel them. ECU, ignition, and fuel pump. So, but again, I just gotta wait for those crimps to finish tying in some of the wires. Like right here is the power plus it's got to be wired down to this boss bar. Then there's, I think I got all the circuit breakers. Luckily, the circuit breakers use -6 screws, so I was okay there. I was able to kind of get around some of this stuff, but I need some of those. There's 2 more wires that have to be hooked back up to my turning bank, and I'll need the number 8 screw holes for that. So I can, but it's manageable now. Now all it's left to do is get me an L bracket, a piece of aluminum angle to attach up here on each side, and then reattach this, and then all this will get tied back up again. But so now I've only got one master switch, only one fuel pump. This one is not used now, so I'll pull the label off of this for the down one because it's no longer used. The choke again, I'm going to try and put it up in there. Get that tail wheel stuff back in there. So, but it's been a hair pulling last 2 days figuring up all this wiring. These aren't the correct leads for the battery. It was just so I could temporarily hook it up and test some stuff. So I'll probably be doing that again here. I don't know if I'll get to it tomorrow. I got to start working tomorrow, but that's kind of all I got left. I was going to order some wires for the cam and crank sensor, the shielded wires, because you can get them in. I can get a 2 conductor and then run 2 separate wires, one for the left side, one for the right, or one for the cam, one for the crank, or I can get a 4 conductor wire and run the cam and crank all through it at the same time, because they again have to go into the computer along with these. So, and I did get the fittings. I don't know if I showed. I got the air filter. I think I left it in the house. No, here it is. I took out the high pressure fuel pressure gauge. Someone asked about where I was going to put the O2 sensor. I was going to go right back in where this one came out. I can't use this. It only reads down to 10, and the fuel pressure now is only 3 to 5. So I got in the air filter. I'd seen these. I got all my straight fittings, and I got 2 90s like this. One of them's already in the bottom of the oil pan, and then this is the K&N style air filter, which I really haven't even looked to see if it's going to fit, but it's basically going to sit on there. Looks like it's just going to clear inside the cowling. So perfect. I think this was, I don't think it was like $15 or something, but it's just a pretty good copy of the K&N. So you can get the same color. Made in Taiwan, so it's even better. Oh, the fitting in the bottom. If you can see it. Not sure. Ow! Oh, my knee's giving out today. Let me grab my trouble light real quick here, folks. But it looks like the 90-degree elbow is going to work the best for up here. There's the fitting. If I put a straight fitting in there and hook it to one of these 90s, it is way too long. You see the difference? And that's just going to end up hitting here. Someone else on comments asked where I was going to put the O2 sensor. Right there. Right here. I can't put it in the top because it's not going to clear. So it's got to come out either one side or the other. You don't want it coming out the bottom because moisture can lay in them. So I'll put it on the end, one side or the other, and probably this side so it goes up. So that's the only other wires that need to be run on the floor with you then. That's the only thing else that would have to be added, and depending on how the wires come, I may want to put them through a bulkhead hole, which I got, here. I've got 2 extra holes there. I might be able to run the choke cable out to one and maybe run the harness to the other. I'd have to de-pin it, pull the pins out of the connector, like this. I can pull the pins out, snake it through, and that way I don't have to try and cut and splice through this big Canon plug. But that's the whole internals. You've got a block on each end that holds the pins into the center blocks, and then there's this body comes up here, and then there's the other body is a square one here. This is the one that physically goes through the firewall. So that goes on first. This comes in from the back, and there's a snap ring that locks it all. You got to kind of pull it in here, pop the snap ring out of here in order to get this pulled out. So that's just not in there for now. So I think that's all I got. I did mention before that someone asked me why was I changing the engine. I didn't change the engine. It's the same engine. I just moved it out farther forward to help with the reduction of weight from this lighter componentry, and changing it to carburetor instead of fuel injection, electronic fuel injection, only because the electronic fuel injection is great. It worked perfect. There was nothing wrong with it, but it's fuel injection. It will fail eventually. So probably have a better chance with this carburetor, because that you can fix in the field. The fuel injection, if you don't have the book for the trouble codes and looking up wiring, trying to figure out what's wrong, and you'd have to do like a code reader on the thing. And I did that back when I was building this. I did the fuel injection because I was all gung-ho into the fuel injection stuff with all my dyno days. My name, you know, Dyno Don, means I used to have a Dynojet chassis dyno, and I did custom tuning on, you know, muscle cars, hot rods, Mustangs, Camaros, all fuel injected Corvettes. You know, got into the chip burning and the reflashing, and then I got out of it to finish this project and just sold the machine off and called her quits. So I was really into the fuel injection, and it's great, but it'll be more simple this way. And with the new wideband oxygen sensor that this uses, if I had to, I can run avgas in it, and in the ignition system on this, I can program it for whatever I need. But once the ignition's set, I don't have to change it. But I can, if I want to, I can hook a computer up, laptop to the computer, and I can go in there and data log, you know, the ignition timing. I can look at the map sensor readings and do some RPM. I can put a rev limiter on there, read the oxygen sensor and record it, stuff like that. But you're not going to be able to fly it with a laptop unless you, I mean, there's no room to carry anything like that in a plane. Maybe you can get a little notepad, a little very small notepad. I don't know if you can hook it into your phone or not, but I don't think this ECU has Bluetooth. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But it takes like a cable USB to like a printer. It's a small square one. So, all right. Well, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut this off. It's already pushing like 6:30, I think. Let me see what the clock says over there. Yeah, it's after 6:30. I don't think you can see it here, but I thought I was done an hour and a half ago, and then I realized, oh man, I needed a power wire or something. I had to come out here and fire the soldering iron up and add an extra couple wires. But all the wires are matched from here to here, short of the 5 wires needed for the 2 cam 3. Well, you got the ground wire for the cam and crank sensor get shared, and then the 2 wires for each, just VR1, VR positive, VR negative. So I've got those colors sorted out from the manual to wire them properly into the new computer. But again, the new computer is just to control the timing, because without a distributor, you have no way to set timing or change it. And then the most critical point is the dwell time of how long the computer sends power to the coils to charge them. It's in milliseconds. So you have to be able to control the dwell. And I didn't want to get into an MSD aftermarket stuff, because MSD is junk. So if anybody wants to know, don't buy MSD. They're junk. All their electronics from the last 10 plus years, 20 years, they're just junk. Most of it's made in Mexico, and they used to have a really good name, but anymore that shit just fails all the time. I wouldn't trust it in this airplane. All right, I guess that's going to do it. I'm going to get back in the house. Again, it was not too bad out here with this fan running. I'll shut that off now. And there's my, if you guys want a nice inexpensive little soldering iron, I bought this thing off of eBay, and you can adjust the temperature, and it comes with one tip, but you can buy an assortment of tips with different sizes, and that thing is just cat's ass, I'll tell you. And this is just a 12 volt power supply. You can get these things. I bought this because I would be able to take it out in the field, out to a hangar if there was no power, and just get a jack and plug it into my car cigarette lighter and be able to power it up out in the field. This is just a war walt. It has enough current to power this thing, but it heats up really fast, does a really good job. But when you start getting into, 12 gauge wire, then you got to turn it all the way up to 480 degrees Celsius, and then you got to put it on there and wait. So it's not great for heavy duty wires, but doing this stuff here, these are at best 18 gauge. So, but it doesn't have any problem. You just got to hold it on there for 4 or 5 seconds before it'll start flowing. All right, I think that's going to do her. I didn't get anything else done other than this. And the problem was getting these damn ring terminals. The ones I was looking for originally, I was looking for the ones to fit this, the 1/4-inch female blade connectors. And I used to get them from Napa. Napa don't have them anymore, but you can order them from online from Napa, and they only cost $2 a piece. So they're basically these with the crimpable style. It'll crimp the ends of the wire plus the insulation like a normal, any kind of weather pack connector has a double crimp system. But they wanted $2.08 each. I was like, no thank you. So I just decided to use my other relay from the pump number 2. And again, there's nothing in the tank other than the sending unit, and I had to wire that too. I had to redo the wiring on that, so it's just the sending unit, because the pumps were tied in with the ground. Because this tank is, the sending unit needs a ground, and this tank does not touch anything metal in the plane. There's no ground plane in the airplane. It's all wood. So I literally have to run a separate ground wire back to the inside of the plane, and just the single wire hooks to the gauge. That's it. But the tank needed grounded. In order to be able to take the tank out, I had to put the quick disconnect on there. I'd cut it out of the system and repin it. So that's everything. Pretty sure that's everything. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Oh, and I also got, I finally went and shut down my landline phone through Spectrum Internet. So I turned that off, saved $25 a month. Got the 1 gigabyte download and up to 35 megabyte upload speed. So that last video I did, 25-minute video, would normally take almost an hour and a half, hour 15, hour and a half to upload. Well, that video, that 25-minute one from Sunday night, only took 15 minutes to upload. So it's a lot quicker now. All right, that's going to do her. I'm at 1740. Time to cut it off, and I will see you guys again next week, and you've probably seen most of this stuff done. And I'll have the oil system, the fittings for that to finish up, and should be good to go. All right, everyone, thanks for watching these videos. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, concerns, and I will see you on the next one. So for now, this is Downer Don out.